It's time for the bucket strategy. This is a highly sophisticated investment strategy. This is like, this is what the top financial planners use. I'm going to teach you all about short-term buckets, medium-term buckets, and long-term buckets. And this is also a drinking game. So every time I say buckets, you have to take a drink. I'm Lindsay Sparrow, and this is my favorite investment strategy. Remember to follow me at Buy the Latte and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, the highly sophisticated buckets strategy. It's important when you're planning to really think about your money in different buckets. So we've got our short-term bucket, medium-term bucket, and long-term bucket. This also will help you when you go through market volatility because it'll help you to stay focused on what your money is supposed to do for you over time. So with your short-term bucket, remember to drink. With your short-term bucket, this is money that you're gonna probably be using in, say, 2 to 5 years. So you're going to be more conservative with this money, and what you're going to be using this for would say, maybe you're wanting to travel, maybe you want some money set aside for something you don't even know today that you might want. Then you've got your medium bucket. Now this is usually your 5 to 10 years, or maybe even 5 to 15 years. And this could be for things like, maybe you have a goal to buy a cottage at some point, or maybe your kids are going to be starting university and you want to have some extra money for that just in case. So this might be where you're taking more of a balanced type of risk with your investments. So maybe you're investing this bucket in, 60% into stocks, but 40% into bonds. Then you've got your longer term bucket. So now this is generally for most people their biggest bucket. And what you're going to be, this happens to usually be for your retirement. So likely you're going to be investing more in stocks, and it's meant to give you that higher rate of return over the long term. This is also money that you're not going to be spending for 15, 20, 30 years. So you can afford to take a little bit more risk with this bucket because it is for your retirement or something way down the road. So many buckets, so little time. So when you have your short, medium, and long-term buckets, what you want to do is, let's say that you decide that you're going to go on a trip and you spend $15,000 on that trip. There's going to be a point when the market is in a good position where you can actually refill that shorter-term bucket with your medium-term bucket. And so the idea is that when the market's in a good spot, you just keep refilling your bucket so that you end up having enough money for your short, medium, and long-term goals. Now, it's really important with financial planning that you know how much you need for, say, retirement, because you don't want to be continuously filling these your shorter term buckets with money that's really needed for down the road. So if it turns out that your investments have done really well and you're on track, then for sure, when the market's in a good spot, refill those buckets. But the idea is that your longer term bucket is for down the road. So the best part about the bucket strategy is that you don't have to worry about what the market is doing in the short term, because remember, you've got your more conservative bucket that's not going to move around as much with market volatility, and you can just let your longer term bucket do what it needs to do. So it's going to be invested more into stocks, most likely, which means it's going to move around a lot more with the markets. Again, you can just ignore that. Ignore what that bucket's doing over there because you've got your shorter term bucket. And then when the market's good and when the market's back up, then we can go ahead and we can refill your shorter term bucket if we need to at that time. So to recap, we have our short term bucket, which is 2 to 5 years, and this is going to be for travel. Maybe you want to buy a boat, all these different fun things that can come up. Then you've got your medium term bucket, which is going to be that 5 to 10, 15 years. That's going to be invested probably more balanced. And that's where you're going to use that to maybe buy a second property. Maybe you want a place in Mexico. It's Maybe your kids need extra money for school, or you want to help them buy a house. That's what that bucket of money could be for. Then your long-term retirement bucket. That's money that's not going to be spent for a long time. And remember, you can invest that more growth. Now, if you're not drunk right now, after drinking to every single time I said buckets, I don't know what's wrong with you. You have a really high liquor tolerance. I'm Lindsay Sparrow, and that's my highly sophisticated buckets investment strategy. Remember to follow me at Buy the Latte or subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also click below to get additional resources on financial planning and investing.